Good afternoon, friends. Myself Rahul Mathur from ILDC, and today we are going to discuss something about e-waste management. Before starting my presentation, I would like to ask my friends something about e-waste. How many of you know about e-waste? Any idea? Any layman definition? You don't need any professional definition. Okay. So before starting, I would like to discuss the contents. Today we will be covering what is e-waste, why it is a problem, the content in e-waste, challenges, impact, routes, and at the end conclusion. Okay, e-waste is something, any electronic item which is of no use for us, in spite of just throwing it to dustbin or just disposing of. And also it is written that in spite of just hitting it to your enemy, don't throw it to your enemy. Okay. E-waste includes wires, plugs, switches, boards, any electronic item. Okay. What are the items that are included in e-waste? It may be your computer, your refrigerator, your PC, or any electronic item. It could be included in e-waste. Okay. Now e-waste is not a problem because we use it, so it can't be a problem for us. E-waste is problem when we dispose it improperly. The contents present in e-waste is a problem. It contains some toxic materials which are problematic for us. That's why it is called e-waste. Okay. So we have a statistic which shows the number of consumer of e-waste. A chart showing that IT communication sector and large household appliances leads the chart, and consumer electronics 14% and other include 10%. This is the chart showing e-waste consumption in world. Okay, this chart shows that in every second around the world, how much electronic items are consumed. Like you can see 81 iPads sold, and it's all the statistics are there. And at the end we see a red arrow which shows that 38 tons of e-waste is generated in every 60 seconds around the world. So it's a large amount. Still, the problem is that we buy electronic item, but we are not concerned that where it would be disposed. We just throw it in the dustbin. We don't throw our mobile phones in the dustbin. But let's take an example of a simple battery. We are not concerned about it. So we just throw it in the dustbin and we don't care about it. Here's a video I would like to share with you.
Look at those computers.
So we have seen the current scenario of e-waste around the world. Okay. Now, why is e-waste a problem for us? See, there is a rapid increase in the technology. Rapid increase in the technology means there is a rapid increase in the consumers. But along with we can see that there is a slow adaptation to the change in technology. Means we have very less means to combat with the problem. Okay, more consumer, more and less means to tackle the e-waste means more toxic in the world. It means more hazard to the health. Okay. It also means we can also see that cheap sourcing and cheap buying results in more hazard to our health. Okay, this is a problem in the picture. We can see the images of e-waste dump around the world. The image shows that there is a burning of e-waste. This is a river around which e-waste is dumped improperly, and people are also living and taking their water from the river also. Okay, so this shows the toxic contents present in the e-waste, the appliances that we use, which are improperly disposed. Okay, the most important we should note there is a mercury and cadmium and polyvinyl chloride. These are the major contents of the e-waste. Okay. This graph shows, the blue region shows the countries which have signed the e-waste norms, and the red portion shows the countries which have signed but are not practically implementing the e-waste regulation in their nations. And these are mostly the Britain and the English countries. Okay. This graph shows the sources of e-waste. Actually, what's happening that the cost of dumping e-waste is very less in countries like in developing countries like India, Pakistan, and China. And the countries that are shown from the red are disposing their e-waste. European countries and United States are disposing their e-waste to countries like India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and China. So these are the destination, and the red mark are shown by the sources. And see, we can also see that India is the major source for dumping of e-waste. Okay, talking about India, this is the growth of e-waste in India. We can see in 2007 and what would happen in 2025. It's a large figure, that the figure is in metric tons. So we can estimate that how much e-waste would be generated. Actually, not only India is generating e-waste, but the other countries are also putting e-waste in our country. So it's a huge problem for us. Okay, there is a state-wise statistic. The highest e-waste is generated by Maharashtra, led by Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh. Maharashtra is generating 19.8% of e-waste around the world. It's a big figure around the country. A city-wise statistic. Delhi and Mumbai again leads. Mumbai leads by 24%. 24% of the India's e-waste is generated by Mumbai, and 21.2% e-waste is generated by Delhi. We have also got Ahmedabad in it also, with 7.2% of e-waste generated. Okay, so what are the environmental implications of e-waste? Actually, the problem is that melting of e-waste, during the recycling of e-waste, we have to remove the toxic material from the non-toxic material. It may be copper or any other content. So, whether we have to burn to remove the copper from the plastic. The burning includes the open air burning, or it may be the burning which causes acidification of the material. Okay, so there are two major health problems, that are the melting of the computer chips and the open air burning. These are the most major problems. Okay, so now what are the impacts? The major impact is 2% of global CO2 is generated by e-waste dumping. It also pollutes soil because there is an improper dumping of e-waste from the world. So it also pollutes soil also with cadmium and mercury. And high energy budgets are required to extract the copper and other materials, useful material from the e-waste. So it includes high energy budget, which is not affordable. Okay. So what are the challenges to us? The most basic challenge for us is the poor design, because most of the appliances are imported from China. They don't focus on the design, they just focus on the cost value. So it's very difficult for us to remove the non-toxic material from the toxic material, and also there is a high cost factor also, because nobody cares about extracting the correct item from the e-waste. Okay. The another point is the limited awareness. Most of the people are not aware that whether we have to buy the correct item or not, or whether the item is designed properly or not. So this is another major problem for us. This is a picture which shows that what we buy from the store and at the end what we dump. Okay, it's in business. Nobody cares that what we buy is just e-waste for us. This diagram shows that how does American countries dump their e-waste. They have a clay barrier, after that a plastic cleaner in which they dispose their e-waste, a lash collection, a refuse cell and a daily cover. They have a practice to dump their e-waste, but countries like developing countries like India and Pakistan and China, they just burn it in the air or just dispose in the soil, which cause hazard to our health. Okay, this shows the recovery item from the chips and e-waste. Most of the processors are composed of gold or silver. So this shows that gold is recovered from PC, processor, cell phones, SIM cards and other items, whereas silver is recovered from the X-ray film, photo color bleach and other items. So what can we do to tackle us from e-waste? First of all, we should follow some of the points while buying an item. We can see that the item is bad. The item that we are using is used from a recycled content. We should focus on the utilized minimal packaging, or the item is made up of few toxic materials. Moreover, we can also focus that the e-waste is dumped in a proper place. We can create some pits also, and we can dump our e-waste in that also. Okay, Attero. Anybody has heard the name of Attero? Okay, Attero is the only Indian company that works on the e-waste management. It's the 5th company in the world and only country in the world in India. And what it do is that it collects large tons of e-waste from the country, and it has its base station in Roorkee. It recycles the waste in Roorkee, and there is a chart which shows that per electronic item they pay the user. It's a fixed item. For TV they pay 1,000 rupees, for refrigerator they pay 1,000 rupees, and for mobile I would like to tell you that they have a website like eBay. We can enter our mobile model. We can put the specification whether our mobile is not working or all the specification, then they will tell us the price of the item. Okay. So there is a mantra of 3 R's: reduce, reuse and recycle. Reduce means, see, market tempts us to buy more and more electronic item, buy more and more electronic upgradations. In every 6 months there is an upgradation of OS. So we are also tempted that we have to buy a new mobile phone, but we don't care that what would happen up to our previous mobile phone. Okay, so we should buy. I'm not saying that we shouldn't buy a mobile phone, but we should buy frequently our mobile phone. Okay. Reuse. We should try to reuse our electronic item as much as we can, or rather we should try to donate it to someone which is in need of this. And the third one is recycle. If we can't recycle our electronic item, we should end up the electronic item to an authorized recycler, which could dump the item properly. So here in conclusion, there are only 2 authorized cells in India, that are in Bangalore and Chennai, which are tackling with e-waste management. A lack of public awareness that we don't care about dumping of e-waste, we just throw it in the dustbin. And the third one is bulk of e-waste remain unattended. And the fourth one is proper implication of e-waste management tool is very essential for us. we don't follow the rules. There is a rule for e-waste management issued by our constitution, but nobody cares about it. At the end, I would like to show you another video. The video is from Atero, the company that I have told you.
E-waste today is the fastest growing portion of the world's waste stream. At the current growth rate, e-waste in India is all set to touch the 1.72 million metric ton mark by 2020.
Awareness and management of waste, and e-waste in particular, will allow us to be more sustainable as we go into a future that is inevitably going to be marked by resource scarcity, climate change and other impacts, that if we don't do something about these impacts, we will find ourselves in a situation where we will have less than we had yesterday and certainly less than we have today.
The unorganized sector consists of small players who lack the necessary infrastructure and technology to process e-waste in the right manner. Primitive and hazardous techniques like open burning and acid treatment are used to process e-waste. This leads to inefficient extraction of metals and improper dumping of leftovers. These disposal centers typically have a scrapyard set up where workers, including women and children, work without any protective gear.
There are very small recyclers who are actually quite unorganized in the sector, and they should be a part of the solution rather than being part of the problem.
The Clean E-India initiative, launched by IFC and Atero, is an effective take-back program that is benefiting all stakeholders.
Along with IFC, we are working on a project wherein we are establishing offline channels to ensure collection of electronic waste from end consumers on a daily basis.
It also could have a significant impact on the informal sector. Bringing them into more formal business models will clearly offer opportunities to improve the health, sanitation, and the stability of income.
This initiative will provide training to the informal sector workers for proper handling and good practice. The Take-Back program will operate on a sustainable basis in partnership with producers.
Today we collect electronic waste from more than 120 cities across the country, across 20 states. Everything that is collected is barcoded at source, and there's a proper tracking mechanism end to end.
It would provide us a good method of informing both our customers and also our own supply chain in terms of how the e-waste management can be done a lot more smoothly.
The idea is to produce this model which could eventually be replicated throughout India and into some of the other countries which also face similar problems.
If Videocon implements everything on their own, then the cost is very high. And in this initiative, because we are working with Atero, and in fraction of cost, we are managing and we are complying with all regulations.
And this is a very good example. With Atero, we're bringing in the advisory services as well as our investments.
This initiative can have a transformational impact to increase efficiency and effectiveness in e-waste management and reclamation of resources, improve quality of life of workers from the informal sector, provide producers with a plug-and-play solution and improve customer engagement, and finally, make India cleaner, healthier and safer.
The Clean E-India initiative.
It is an economic concept.
Very right step in this direction.
More and more initiatives like this would definitely support the cause.
All kinds of electronic waste can be recycled in an environmentally friendly manner.
This initiative is to have cleaner and greener earth and healthy India.
The 3 I's are improvement to access, inclusion, and innovation.
Okay, so from this video, अब आप लोगों को कुछ पता चला होगा कि इंडिया के अंदर ई वेस्ट का क्या सीन चल रहा है और अराउंड द वर्ल्ड किस तरह से ई वेस्ट इंडिया में इंपोर्ट करा जा रहा है, किस तरह से अटेरो उसको रिसाइकिल कर रहा है. Okay, I hope that you have enjoyed my presentation. Thank you.